Is it mandatory to file a tax declaration in Germany?
It depends. If you are a regular employee, you don't have to file a tax declaration. However, you may want to consider it as the average tax return per year is €1,000.
Whoa, that's cool. Today we will talk about when you need to file a tax declaration, who needs to file it, and how you can actually do it. Hey, my name is Jen and I'm from Guatemala.
And mine is Yvonne and I'm German.
And together we're from simplegermany.com, where we create English content to empower internationals to settle into life in Germany more smoothly.
Tax declarations in Germany. In German it's called Steuererklärung, and it is a big topic for Germans and foreigners alike. Regulations change every year, but let's cut to the chase and tell you when you actually are obliged to file a tax declaration. As we said in the intro, if you are a regular employee, just working your normal job, not having any other side income, then you don't have to, but you may want to.
Yes, but when you absolutely have to is when you meet one of the following conditions.
If you receive any other payment or substitute incomes that are more than €410 per month, for example, Elterngeld, parental allowance, then you have to.
Also, if you have received extraordinary payments, like for example, a severance payment.
If you got divorced and you or your ex-partner actually remarried in the same year.
If you have several employers at the same time, not including mini jobs.
This is an important one for all of you because if you have received income from another country, for example, in the year of your relocation or rent from a property that you own abroad, you have to.
If you're married and either you or your partner have filed to change your tax to tax class 3 or 5, what? Tax class? Yes, we have actually a detailed guide about tax classes in Germany, which you can check out in the description below.
You have received an allowance, a so-called Freibetrag from your local tax office.
Or you have been in Kurzarbeit.
Additional to that, if none of those points apply to you, however, you do receive a letter from the Finanzamt asking you to file a tax declaration, you are also obliged to do so.
Now, if you are a freelancer or self-employed, you absolutely have to file your tax declaration every year in Germany. So if you don't have to, then why would you even consider filing a tax declaration in Germany?
Because this is kind of like the only way to get taxes back that you already paid and maybe you paid too much.
Ooh, yeah. Free money. Well, you actually get the money back.
I was going to say, it's not free money. It's just like getting back what is yours, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Most people who hand in their tax return in Germany actually do get money back. Sometimes hundreds, sometimes thousands of euros. The average as communicated by all the tax experts out there is actually roughly above €1,000 per year. So that is a good incentive. However, big disclaimer here, we are not authorized tax consultants. We cannot give any tax advice. This is just based purely on our research and our personal experience, because you could also actually end up paying more taxes if you have not paid enough.
Yeah, so it can go either way, right? Either you get money back or you actually get a letter saying, oh, by the way, you are missing some money and we will charge you more.
So let's focus on the employee in this video. Every employee in Germany has the automatic right to declare expenses worth of €1,000 per year, regardless whether they happened or not.
Some examples of expenses are actually commuting to work every day or the church tax as well. If you want to know more details about what expenses could possibly be counted, then make sure to check out our detailed guide, which is also linked in the description below.
However, I would like to clear a myth or a misunderstanding that is often communicated, and that is that this €1,000 expenses that you can declare has nothing to do with the average of €1,000 tax return back that you get. They are completely different. Let's clear them up. So the €1,000 expenses you can declare are automatically actually calculated within the taxes that are taken from your payslip every month.
Oh, that's super interesting.
So for example, if you earn gross yearly €60,000, you will actually only end up paying, in a very rough example, without respecting any other deductions, taxes on €59,000.
So because of these €1,000 expenses.
Correct. So they get automatically rejected. So you don't file a tax declaration to get those €1,000 back. That is not the case.
However,
what is the case is that a lot of employees actually surpass this €1,000 of expenses, for example, by having a longer commute to the office. And the moment you surpass those €1,000, then it is actually very ideal to file a tax declaration because the chances are high that you get money back.
So now, how do we actually file tax declarations in Germany? So there are 4 ways that we will talk about in this section. The first one is to do it yourself.
Yeah, that is an option. However, I have actually never done it myself.
I've done it myself, actually. The second year I was here, or the first one, I don't remember. What I remember, it was like a clunky software that I had to download on my computer.
It's called Elster.
Yeah, it was like from the 1980s, not even 90s, I could say. I know maybe in the 80s we didn't have the internet, but it was like a very old school software. It was very complicated, and a coworker actually had to sit with me for a few hours to figure some things out.
So it's highly complicated. The topic of taxes is super complex. It changes, like I said, every year. That's why actually only dedicated or certified tax consultants or tax advisors are legally in the right to advise on taxes and give you answers on your individual case. So doing it yourself is highly time-consuming, complicated, and you might not actually get the maximum out of it because you don't know the ins and outs. And it's all in German. Whoa. Bureaucratic German.
Yes. Also, so now number 2 is to actually use a tax return software. So in the past years, actually, this has developed a lot in the market because now there are tax return softwares that are in English.
Yes.
And the UI, like the user interface, is like super friendly, super nice, super quick, all digital. What?
They give you tips, like they ask you questions. Have you paid your checks? Have you received parental allowance? Have you done this or that? To actually trigger you to answer questions or upload files that help you get money back. So it is a fast, easy, often you can do it in 30 minutes, and cheap option to file your taxes. However, it is not as accurate as if it would be done by a tax attorney.
Yes, and also this is more tailored to employees and not self-employed or freelancers. Our readers at simplegermany.com prefer to use the software from SteuerGO. You can also find that link in the description below if you're interested. And if you do use our link and you do decide to use their service, we will receive a small commission from them at no extra cost to you.
The third option is to use a tax consultant, which, yes, will end up being the most expensive one up front. However, there are multiple comparisons out in the internets and on YouTube as well, where you do also hear the result that a tax consultant will most likely get you more money back than a software would, especially if it's a more complicated case.
So using a tax consultant might be the best option for you if you are obliged to file a tax declaration, because those tend to be the more complicated cases. If you're looking for a tax consultant, you can also use our link down in the description below from a website called YourXpert, where you can actually get in touch with them and write your message in English, telling them you're looking for a tax consultant, and they will refer you to an English-speaking tax consultant in Germany.
A fourth option to file your taxes is to become a member of a Lohnsteuerhilfeverein, which equals to a German tax assistance association, which exists in more or less every town or city. By becoming a member, you pay an annual membership fee that actually relies on, or it's related to your salary, and it's usually around 100 to 300 euros per year, and they help you with filing your taxes. Downside, again, everything is in German. Upside, it is a good mix between a software and a tax consultant. It's a bit cheaper than a tax consultant, so that's kind of like a middle way.
Yes, we have a friend who is part of these Vereins, and she is super happy with the service that she's received. To find one, you simply have to open your whatever search engine you like to use and put Lohnsteuerhilfeverein and the name of your city, and then most likely you will see a result for something close nearby to you. So question to you, if you do file taxes in Germany, which one is your preferred way of filing taxes? Is it one of the 4 that we mentioned, or do you have an alternative way that we don't know? Please let us know in the comments below. Is there a deadline for me to file the tax declaration?
Yes, there is. It depends a little bit on whether a tax declaration is mandatory for you or whether you're doing it voluntarily. Also, it depends on whether you're doing it via a service like a tax consultant or a Lohnsteuerhilfeverein, because they have extended deadlines, or you're doing it yourself or with a software. For the details, check out our guide where we have listed the dates that apply.
Also, in the same guide, you can find what documents you need to actually file your tax declaration. Now, for the grand question of how long does it take for me to actually get the money back after I filed my tax declaration?
Again, it's very individual. It's German bureaucracy at its finest, but the average is around 2 to 6 months. It kind of depends also on your local Finanzamt. The way you get your money is that once your tax return is approved, you will receive a letter like a tax assessment, a Steuerbescheid, that will tell you it is approved and this is the amount. And pretty much the same day, you will actually have that money in the bank account that you listed on the tax return.
Wow, that's cool. And now that you have some extra money in Germany, you might consider investing some of it. And you can check out the video that it's here. You can click there and to find out more about like the best online brokers in Germany to invest your money wisely. Until next time, tschüss! Put Lohnsteuerverein Hilfe.
Lohnsteuerhilfeverein.
Lohnsteuerverein, no.
Lohnsteuerhilfeverein.